Hi, I'm with etrailer, and today we're talking about the Titan tire chains with roller links on our 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 2500. And this is going to be on a tire size 275, 65, R20, and we're going to have this on our rear axle as what the manual recommends. So let's check them out. These are a great set of chains if you're just looking for something for light duty areas, if you're just going over some light snow, or if your state requires you to have chains and you don't have any, you just need something more affordable to throw on here, this is going to get the job done. They're going to have these roller links to them, and these roller links are going to do a couple things. They're going to sit very low profile, so you're not going to notice them a whole lot, and they're going to have this ability to roll, so they're going to provide you a much more smoother ride than some of our more bulky chains. They're also going to be made from a low carbon steel, so while they might not be as durable as some of our nickel alloy chains, this will still hold up and last you a while. Now in the center, the way this is going to hold down, we're going to have these metal blocks that go through here and connect to this channel. This is what's going to secure it down in place. Now what I recommend doing is, if you have any chains like this, just investing in a small rubber tensioner to keep pressure on here while you drive will do you just fine. And lastly, we're going to have this ladder pattern to them. And this ladder pattern is going to assist with giving you more traction when you're stopping or starting. These chains today are going to come two to a set in this smaller bag. Now this is going to be pretty light duty, but so are the chains, so they're probably not going to damage it too much, and it feels pretty weather resistant. So this should hold up to your chains pretty well. I still would recommend investing in a small tote though, because I'm not a big fan of trying to get our chains back in bags like this, because when you're rolling back up, a lot of times they want to spring back out, and getting them back in here can be a real pain. Overall, I think this is going to be a great option for you if you're just looking for something light duty, but mainly if you live in a state that requires you to have chains, because they are very affordable, and throwing them on here isn't too much of a hassle, especially when you do have a larger truck. That's a lot easier to get underneath your vehicle. But if you would like to see how we did it, just stay tuned and we'll walk you through it. To start off the installation, I recommend grabbing some gloves to make this a lot easier. And if this is your first time getting these on, I recommend staying at home, because you don't want to have to figure this out on the side of the road in the middle of a blizzard. But what we're looking for when we're checking over our chains is making sure there's no damages to the links, nothing is bound up, and it's in the right orientation. We want to make sure these hooks are facing up. You'll be able to tell because there's a slight line right there, this gap, where you can tell where the metal separates. Because if that's facing your tire, that could damage it. But we also want to make sure everything's looking even and in the center of our tire. And if it does, we can just lift up and drape it over the tire itself, making sure nothing gets tangled up. And I like to make sure this doesn't hang too low, because I don't want it making contact with our rim. And I like to make sure everything's going to be really easy to grab when I make those connections up front and behind our tire. Speaking of the back, when we come over here, we want to put this area right here that has those metal blocks on them through this channel. You just push it through that larger hole and put this through here until it feels pretty tight, nothing too crazy. And right down from there, if you follow this cord some, we'll have this little metal block here, or this little thin piece. And what you can do with this excess is just run it through that hole until it grabs onto there. This is great for when you are driving and you're worried about this just flopping all over the place. This is going to help it keep more secure. On the front side, it's going to be the same process. We're just going to run this through until this becomes pretty tight, and it's going to be even on both sides. And just make sure to use this little keeper here, so it's not bouncing all over the place. And you'll notice this is still kind of loose, and that'll happen sometimes. And that's another reason why I recommend a rubber tensioner, just to take out some of that slack. Because what this is going to be doing is applying pressure or tension throughout our chain. And a good way to make sure this is even is to put this in a star pattern. And when you're placing these on, I recommend keeping that hook away from your tire so it doesn't puncture anything. In some cases you might get a weird fit. You just have to rearrange how everything's hooked on here until it's pretty even throughout. With this installed, you just repeat that process on the other side. And then I recommend either just pulling forward or back some to make sure everything's seating well. And if it is, you can hit the road. And that was just a look at the installation and some of the features of the Titan chains with roller links on our 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 2500. Thanks for watching.